Welcome friends. Another wonderful Thursday afternoon here. What is up, Mr. Coffee? Mr. Coffee. Acerbot. Hello. Okay, I have the following games. Acerbot Schumacher, Schumacher Sparkle Horse, ABC FIGM versus Engelbert Humperdinck, Miro versus somebody, Antonio Morales against Malvern 7-6, and Tezikman Black against Claptonist. Am I forgetting anyone? Your king is broken. Oh no. Oh no. Let me show you. Basil Faulty versus Basil Smislav. Wasili. John Cleese taught Move 11 everything he knows about Basil. Alright guys, it's been a long day. Move 11. Do you have the Philadelphia Open? Is that starting this weekend or is that that's next weekend, right? Poor Sladgie. Yeah, Sladgie had a rough Thursday. It's rough. Next weekend. Both of you guys are here. Both of you guys are here. Tell me your sections. Alright. But wait, Move 11, you're going to play in the Marshall tournament? Move 11 has a Marshall under 2400. Under 1500. Mr. Coffee, you have no business in the under 1500 section. Unbelievable. You have no business in that section. They're suffering from unemployment. Alright, guys. I'm hoping to find my energy here. Alright, Acerbate against Schumacher with weight. B3. Alright, we gotta fix the World Senior banner. Banner! Dr. Banner. Paging Dr. Banner. Alright, World Senior banner. Donation goal. Paging Dr. Banner. Oh my god. What have I done? Can you fix my donation goal, please? This keeps happening. I keep losing the thread here. That's better. We fixed it. Alright. Moving on and upwards. So Acerbate playing the B3. Thanks for being a subscriber. Acerbate, Mr. Coffee, Move 11, Bonsal. Black played D5, Bishop B2. You know, you might want to think about alternatives, like Knight F3, F4. Not really a reliable move, by the way. E3. Okay, Bishop E2 is our main move. And then black plays c5. So this is Schumacher playing principally speaking, you know, the only reason, you remember the Montequilla opening? What is it called again, Acerbate? Butter attack? No, bishop a6. What's butterfly again? What if we could play bishop a3 in some position? Mariposa. The Montequilla attack. When it's with white, it's the Montequilla. So if we play e3 and black plays c5, we could technically play bishop a3. I actually don't think this is a good move. We would need black to cooperate and play something like a Queen's Indian in reverse. We would basically need to get this, where we're able to do like bishop a6, hit that pawn, and play a bishop a6, Queen's Indian in reverse. Alright, bishop b2, c5, e3. E3 is your main move here. You could play f4, but e3 is the go-to move. Actually, knight f3 is fine as well. e3. And then, of course, Schumacher plays knight c6. He's trying to play the Nimzo with black, with a move behind, which is ambitious, you know, trying to play like white with a move less. So Acerbate went for it, and he actually played a Nimzo in reverse. Well, it's technically not a Nimzo because white does not play knight f3, but it's a Nimzo idea. This is the sharpest move. Okay, black plays like Schieberspieler, the ultra boring bishop d7. It's a wonder that Schumacher didn't play queen c7 actually, given his preponderance to do that. Gilgamesh. Bishop d7. And then what do we do? You can consider f4. I remember I once beat the young Josh Friedel, but it wasn't easy when he was a kid. In a tough game, I knew I was going to have trouble with him later. A hard time beating him. I gave up my white squared bishop on c6 and I never really got a lot of compensation. So it's safer to play like knight f3. But I mean, you're always looking for things with an extra tempo here. You know, white is black and black is white, but white has an extra move. And you're always looking for ways, you should always be looking for ways to benefit from that extra tempo. You can play a little more dynamically, but man, there's not much you can do about bishop d7. That's such a solid move that's a very solid move. You know, against this. One thing that draws my attention here is, okay, I mean, neither of these pawns is protected. If you just highlight these pawns, it is kind of funny that neither or neither, tomato, tomato, neither of those pawns is protected. The only moves that have been played in this position are knight f3 and f4. There's really no reason that has to be the case, though. Like, I'm sure that c4 is a move. There's absolutely no reason why c4 can't be played. Or is there? There's a reason. There could be a reason. You know, you've got to watch your knight b5 or knight b4. This is Acerbate's favorite square. his new favorite square is d3. What do you guys think? You know, one thing that's amusing is like, I'm just kind of like brainstorming here. But it's just amusing that if you did something like, I don't know, knight a3, check, king e2, knight takes b2, like this would be trapped. For example, I don't know, queen b1, like, I know that's crazy, but does white have a good move here? It's a problem. You have to take, and now there's a huge hole on d3. And d3 isn't enough because he has it covered twice. So anyway, it doesn't look like c4 is really possible. Alright, Aspie, so it's up to you. Knight f3, and then black played the unbelievable, mind-boggling. I like how after the game, Ripun said something about like, oh, Asterbait, he played unbelievably. Dude, what? Did Asterbait get stronger or something? Asterbait's like 1800. You seriously played this move against someone, and then after the game you're questioning, you know, if they've gotten stronger or whatever. Like, seriously, what is that? And how many shots of Palinka did you drink before you played that move? That's a central pawn. Oh, that's a whole knight, actually. That's a mouse slip? Could we guess? Yeah, it's a mouse slip. It looks like a mouse slip. I don't know. Man, how strong did you get, Asterbait? You took the free knight? Maybe he thought he was only losing a central pawn with knight takes d4. That's nuts. So Asterbait, I think here you should be all business. And first of all, you can take with the threat of bishop takes g7 or castle and just keep safety first. But this knight e5 move, pure mania. No, it's a good move too. Okay, queen b5. Yeah, I don't know what Schumacher was doing here. He's clearly lost his mind. He has no respect for Asterbait. Look at this. Asterbait gonna kill you. Now queen f3 is lights out. Man, Acer, you took back on c4 here. This is a funny move. I like d5. And I like queen f3 because you got double trouble. Double triples. Triple trouble. And if queen c7, then you're in there with this as well. Man, that looks ugly. This game is almost not worth analyzing. I don't know what black was doing. I guess once he dropped a piece, he just kind of messed around. So take back on d4. You shouldn't have allowed that. And then you traded queens. You haven't been watching any Schieberspieler streams in a while, I guess. The only thing, he could unite his central pawns into one chain. And then you're going to need to crack them with f4. I mean, black has to play f6 here, obviously. And, you know, where to go. If you play here, he plays e5. This is your best bet, and then like castles, playing for f4. This is too slow. You gotta destroy his pawn chain. He has no business questioning your strength after this game. What was black doing here? It's just terrible. And now he tries his last attempt at cheapos. Phew, where are you going? Acerbate, you're up a rook in this position. Just secure. Secure, contain, and protect. The SCP Foundation. It's one of my son's favorite Roblox themes. Securing alien beings and supernatural beings. You just secure and protect, dude. You're up a rook. Don't go on adventures with your knight on e6. Adventure bot. Oh no. Now both pieces are hanging simultaneously. Oh no, that doesn't work. So this must have been why he was disappointed. He got down to just down the exchange. And another pawn, and this is huge blunder. Dropping g2. Wow. Oh man, you're falling apart. You're falling apart. You could have afforded to lose the c pawn better than this pawn on g2, which breaks up your structure. I don't know how you won the game after this. Wow. Schumacher has a better king, and he's only down the exchange in a pawn. And his rook's on the 7th, cutting you off. He must have started to become optimistic here. He could swindle you. Look at this fancy move, bishop c3. You could possibly play king g2, king f1 here. You know, it's important because it's a forcing move, and you would force him to exchange, basically. I think you're winning on king f1. I think you're winning on your move too. Oh my god, you had check and take the bishop. Wow. So he hung a piece. Oh, that's so sad. Poor Schumacher. Just at the moment when he really had hope, he had to play this like fancy cheapo with bishop c3. You know, I honestly don't know if you're winning. I mean, if he plays king f5 with his king coming here, rook on the 7th, pressure on both pawns. Yeah, man, I don't know who's better. Wow. I agree with ABC FIGM. I don't know, I'm stuttering. I'm inclined to say like white is still a tiny bit better. But white's gonna have to be really careful. I think white has to play something like king d1 and then try to bring his rook in, you know, into the game here. But let's just say, for example, you play king d1 and black plays king f4. And now you play like rook here and black plays rook takes pawn. And then like check. And if he takes this pawn, you take that one. But what's the evaluation? White's winning. But still, I don't think it's easy. The engine thinks it's easy. You're pinned down in a dangerous situation. So you played rook b2, you got lucky there with the check, and you took a piece. Oh no. What? He has like check and take your rook. He misses it? Oh man. I love this though, castles. He misses winning a rook. How does he miss that? He must have been like pre-moving. Phew. It's over. After he plays king h1, just preemptively avoiding the check. Brutal. Okay, this was a bit of a sloppy game, guys. But what it lacked in accuracy, it made up for in entertainment. So that's it. You're welcome for the bonus stream yesterday. This was the first game. This was the first game. Do I have a game for Ripunj Bansal? I don't know. Is he chat banned? Looks like he's chat banned. Let's check messages. Inbox? I did get this. I didn't notice. I don't get notifications when I get messages for some reason. I guess we'll let Ripunj have a analysis game. As long as he doesn't make any stupid comments. You hope I have something to send you next week. Cheers. Alright guys. By the way, Mr. Coffee donated $10 to the senior fund yesterday. XOXO just followed. Mr. Coffee brought us up to $71. So we're 3%, 3.2% of the way. 3.23% of the way. 3.23% alcohol by volume of the way there to our World Senior trip. Don't forget to make your normal donations as well. Alright, sync. Sync, sync, sync. This is not Ripun's turn. It's Schumacher's turn. Unless Schumacher is not here, we can skip him and go on to ABC. Bijak gifted me a win. Gifted you a win. Well, it didn't seem like he gifted the win. I mean, he gifted you a piece, but that's not the same as gifting a win. Someone I was talking to this week was saying how, you know, in lower rating category games, a lot of times, even being up a piece is not necessarily always decisive. He tried, though. He did try his best to gift you that game. He was fighting back, though. Alright, Asterbait. This is Schumacher versus Sparkle Horse. Let's do ABC FIGM first. Because he's here. Alright, so this is C3 Sicilian. Oh, it's a sorry, it's a Schumacher stream? Yeah, games back to back. Just a coincidence. Alright, so ABC FIGM. I know you're talking about playing different lines, but we've got the C3 Sicilian here. You played the Mora Gambit predominantly. D5. You know, yesterday this guy like pulled a fast one on me. I had a game with knight f3, knight c6, and my opponent played e5, and I played e6 like a moron. I went into like an advanced French. I didn't even know how it happened. You know, I wasn't even thinking. I mean, I don't play e6 for a reason, you know. Anyways, alright, so c3, d5, e takes d5, normal c3 Sicilian, queen takes d5, and then knight a3. And yeah, I've lost a couple games in this a long time ago. I lost to Sveshnikov. And I don't know if I have a game score for that because that was like rapid chess, game 30. But I also lost a game to Boros Danish. Some kind of weird miniature. Excel Poker, what's up? So basically, knight e3 threatens these facehugger type of things with knight b5, sometimes bishop c4. I think it's a little bit more common to play knight f3 first, but this is definitely a major idea. Sveshnikov used to play this all the time. Even though this looks like really, I mean, to some people it may look strange. It's not a bad line. Probably for white. I don't think that your opponent's move is the best, because black has, no pieces developed, obviously, except for the queen. And as sneaky as knight a3 is, white's threatening to develop pretty quickly here. Knight f3, bishop c4, knight c4, d4. It's easy for white to get the pieces out quickly. So black has to be careful, and I think he needs to develop, primarily develop his minor pieces and get castled. So I just don't think really we have time for this. If you're going to play something, probably e6, there's also this diagonal. And the light squares are particularly vulnerable. If you were to play something stupid like d3, then black would have a good position. But I know from experience that that's not how this goes. The problem is black maybe can't consolidate his Marazzi fast enough. So you have knight f3, bishop c4 quickly. And obviously, this is a huge thing. Sort of pressure on the white squares. White has won almost every game here. Yeah, black didn't know better, and he thinks he has more space in the center, and he does, but he's going to get hit on these weak squares, particularly this diagonal here. So black may already be in serious danger. Knight c6. Predrag Nikac, no relation to Predrag Nikolic. So, do we have a way to blow the position open for white quickly, or attack f7 quickly? I would imagine like d4 is a move in here. Although I guess there's a check. This could be an issue in some positions, but it's not an ideal square. The knight will attack it with knight g5. It's just that I'm not sure, for example, how you would meet that. So bishop c4 is better, because now queen e4 check, right? It can be it can be meat or vegetable. It can be meat by king f1. And the guy doesn't do it, but obviously this is a major variation. I think I actually had this once, maybe in a blitz game with black. Schmickley lost. Yeah, I mean, king f1 looks pretty logical for white. I know bishop e2 might be a move, but let's look at this first. How does black defend against this? Bishop f7, exactly? I don't know, this looks interesting for white. There's a lot of weak points in black's position. f7, c7, the queen is sort of adrift. Wow, he's okay after bishop e7. Because knight b5 hangs a piece. Amazing. And this is hanging, so there's no knight b5. Wow. So d4, c takes d4, knight b5. and then there's always like bishop d8, but that loses a queen as well. Black has to go here. This is chaos. I see there's bishop e2, but I'm just saying, like, you know, king f1 might be interesting. I mean, clearly, like, this move has been played a number of times, but that doesn't mean that king f1 is bad. It also might be, you know, harder for black. You're upping the ante when you play moves like king f1. You know, this is not easy for black to solve his problems. I wouldn't play it against a computer, but maybe this is worth it. And it's certainly like a typical c3 Sicilian move. There are many variations where you have to do like queen e4 check king f1. I think that's worth considering. Anyways, your opponent played this. Protecting f7. He has knight d8 or knight h6. His bishop is a problem. It could come out to b7 later, but black looks like he's in trouble. It's funny, like both players here played queen e2, but it feels a little bit materialistic to me. I would honestly first consider castling. That's what you did. Yeah, I mean, this one guy is like a 2400. He played queen e2, Zeibel Stiltskin. Yeah, I like your move. I mean, queen e2 is fine, but this looks more natural to me. I mean, you've got to consider the craziness too. I'm sure that that's playable. And black knight d8 isn't great, nor is knight h6 for that matter. But knight g5 looks a little risky. I like castling. The only problem is you do give him time to play knight f6. So here, knight d8 is answered by what? Rook e1. Yeah. This looks very strong. Threatening d4. Black's lost. So ironically, it looks like knight f6 is actually a very bad mistake. Your first c3 Sicilian game is pretty funny. Could you theoretically play knight takes e5? Oh, it's not your move. Okay. Yeah, it has to be your move. So instead of knight f6, I guess he has to play this. His move order wasn't great. Maybe bishop e7 gives him chances to hang on, I would say. Wow. Peter doesn't like it. You're blasting open the center. But I still think it's a better shot than what he did. This loses immediately. And now it's like a fried liver. It's funny, you have knight b5 now. I mean, if you're playing you say this is your first c3 Sicilian game, but I mean, this is like, if you play the Mora Gambit, I mean, the idea of putting your knights on like g5, this is totally a Mora Gambit type of stuff. Black just lost like a bunny. Bunnyville. 2100. Yeah, I mean, he's not taking his time, man. You have very serious threats. Bishop takes d5 wins a game. So he plays h6, you take on d5. Oh, that's a nice move. Ooh. What a move. Knight f7. Yeah, I guess he's expecting bishop takes d5 hg when black has some counterplay here. Even this is probably slightly better for white, but not clear. So knight f7 is like a fried liver. Well, I mean, what did we expect to have happen? This should hardly be surprising. It's just a fried liver. And obviously if here, bishop takes d5, check, queen takes d5, knight c7. Yeah, I mean black's totally punished for the e5 move. And then he loses a rook. You played knight b6 at the end, but I'm not sure that's the most effective use of this tempo. Probably it's neither here nor there. Like white's totally winning, but I'm not sure this is actually a beneficial move for white. You might be better off just playing like d3. It's going to take him a full move to recover that knight. And at the end of the day, I mean, maybe this a file even kind of helps him a little bit. So I'm not sure you should play knight b6. It's funny, he just resigned. I mean, he's down the exchange and a pawn with a bad bishop, so it's a solid resignation. I'm curious what the computer says. I mean, f4 is possible too, but it does like d3. All right. Anyway, it really doesn't matter. I mean, it's just like splitting hairs here about whether you should play knight b6. I think better not to. All right, good game. We got Schumacher. The notification. Bill Burkett has followed, as well as Monster Titan Oboa, and yeah, we said exoskeleton. Guys, please donate and support our efforts to go to the World Senior Championship, October, November. Sicily. Pay for my Sicilian pizza. Mr. Coffee and Asterbay can't do it all by themselves. We're going to need more support. Yeah, well, I mean, that game kind of played itself, honestly. ABC, FI Jam, you're kind of showing off a beautiful win there. But it's illustrating how bad that white square weakness, how quickly black can get in trouble there with e5 in a c3 Sicilian, where he's trying to play the Marazzi, but he doesn't have development to get away with it, obviously. All right, now an interesting game I played with black. Let's look at it from white's side. Schumacher was white against me from our tournament. Nimzo. So this was from our Tuesday arena tournament. We're looking at the game from Schumacher's side. I've played like 40 games, 50 games against him in this classical Nimzo, and I've played every variation I can think of with black. So I just randomly decided to play c5. I played everything. Castles, c5, b6, knight c6, even queen e7 against Atzel, d6. Not a lot of d5, because I feel like that's more of a queen's gambit, but that is a main line as well. Schumacher zerked. He berserked. Thanks for pointing that out. I had forgotten that detail. He berserked, but he's played this opening so much. He knows it fairly well. One of his better openings. I didn't play it accurately though, as you'll see. I don't know, after c5 takes, I did something unusual here. Well, not that unusual. Black has a lot of moves here, and normally I've played castles mostly for black. I've also I've also experimented with like queen c7 a bit. This is a major variation I never really liked that much, but I decided to just randomly play knight a6. I know it's a line. I think I played it once against Gregory Serper. I've actually played this opening with white. No, white has a good score here. Castles is the main line. Blabix, welcome. Thanks for joining us. Castles is main line, and queen c7 is kind of a more modern approach. But this is an older variation. I mean, I honestly don't think c5 is the best line. It looks like, we've talked about this move 11. It looks like castles is probably the most reliable. And if you go by statistics, white's winning percentage is notably the lowest against castles. So that's not a coincidence. Majority of games and lowest winning percentage for white. Although, to be fair, the draw percentage is very high, and black also has not the highest winning percentage. Yeah, but I mean, overall, like, clearly castles is the best score. c5, d takes c5, and now again castles is the main line. Knight a6, and now the main line, though, I mean, this used to be a very popular line, by the way. I'll just like I'll just kind of synopsis this, right? The main line is a3. Black's supposed to take, queen takes, knight takes c5, and then there's two variations for white, f3 and b4. But theory is moved away from this. This was very, very popular in the 90s, considered to be like critical theory. But I guess analysis shows that white is a little better in these lines. So that's technically white's best shot, although it's easy for white to fall behind in development. I remember I lost a game really bad against somebody here. I think I played the f3 line. I've played both with white, actually, both of these moves. So Schumacher doesn't really know sharp theory too well, so he goes and he plays a strange move now. Why is this person doing this? Okay, bye-bye. You're annoying. So, can I go back now? Yeah, sinking. I'm sinking. G3. I remember there was a time when I actually had to turn off challenges during my subscriber streams, but I no longer let it faze me. Bobby said, what castle is the best house? That's why I like e4. You're never going to castle queenside if you play e4, e5. What about castling big castle? Do you like just small castles? Blobix is like the French version of Uber driver. No, you're not as classical as Uber driver. Okay, knight a6. And now g3. So this surprised me. I was like, what is that? That's an idea in one of the lines, right? When black plays, I guess, queen a5. If I were to play queen a5, no, not here. It must be after knight f3. Okay, so knight here. He's supposed to play knight f3, and then on knight takes c5, then he's supposed to go g3. Is this what I'm thinking of? I feel like I'm thinking of this. Maybe I'm confusing this with another variation. Maybe where black castles. It's like a mix of castles. So knight a6, g3. I just took on c5, but obviously there's no rush. Man, you could play, I have a crazy idea. No, b6 isn't going to work. If b6, bishop bishop here, and I don't think rook b8 is a good idea. A little too creative. Someone played bishop takes e5. That's weird. I mean, your knight is naturally gravitating toward that square. Now he plays knight f3. And now we transposed into the other variation. Here I played b6. I see. So it looks like the best move for black statistically, with the highest winning percentage. But this seems to be the main line. I know this is a variation, but you know, white gets doubled pawns or whatever. But white has the initiative. You know, I'm not that crazy about this type of situation. To be honest, like, black has no dynamism whatsoever. Like, this position for black is, it's really kind of Leko-esque, I would say. I like b6 a little bit better. And then he played a funny move, bishop d2, so nothing wrong with this. Mikhail Gurevich twice. Yeah, I saw this. Okay, Mikhail Gurevich versus Alex, my friend. They had a game in 1992. It must have been the World Open. World Open 1992. Gurevich, like, occasionally played tournaments in the US. He lost against Alex. Wow. Could have been another tournament, but likely the World Open. Gurevich lost with white. Bishop b7. And now castles, and I played rook c8. So that's what Alex played. Yeah, I mean, why exchange on c3 if I don't have to? And so now b3. Schumacher, this is not a really dangerous variation, but he leaves theory with b3. But I think I messed up now. I played bishop takes knight because I was being lazy, but I'm not sure if that makes the most sense here. I was afraid of some sort of tactics, but wouldn't it make sense for black to play like d5? Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. The only thing is, like, it's also dangerous for black. I mean, I could get in trouble here too. Is there some sort of, I was afraid there was some sort of tactic like this, but this was my fear. But I have knight takes d5, c takes d5, bishop takes d2. It's equal. But let's see what the computer says. Well, let's see what it says about d5. Yeah. Knight d5, knight d5, c d5, knight a6. So position is equal. I played just immediate capture. This may be a slight mistake. I mean, it gives up my bishop and it's a strong piece. Then I play d5. So I think, you know, he's worried about here pressure. I played this d5. He plays queen b2 now. Now, why didn't I take on c4? If I had this to do over again, I mean, I would normally make this move. But I guess there's a problem. I was afraid of rook d1. And if I play queen e7, no, not clear. Perhaps rook d1 first, we would probably transpose. And I would take here anyway. You know, he also has this move. with a cheapo. But perhaps it's not a big deal. As long as I don't allow this. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if I was thinking more clearly, I probably would have played pawn takes pawn. It was a mistake to play this. I was nervous about the bishop. Oh, bishop e4, what? Rook d1, what? Rook d1, queen e7, knight g5, knight e4, bishop e4. And? What's the big deal? Yeah, he doesn't get banned from the stream and stuff. I don't get it, Blobix. What are you suggesting? That I'm in trouble? He's not a troublemaker. Anyway, so we just got this ending. And I decided to be like, you know, dynamic here and take with the pawn. If I was playing Magnus Carlsen, I would probably take with the knight and just try to hold an equal position. But, you know, this move has a lot of principles. I mean, you're taking toward the center. The doubled pawns aren't bad. You know, my king could maybe go to g7. It controls the e5 square most importantly. What does the computer say? Yeah. G takes is actually just as good as knight takes. Anyway, it's more dynamic, I think. And now takes, here, making way for king, and then e3, and that is a huge weakness on the c3 square. Did I miss knight c3 now? Well, it doesn't necessarily do anything, right? If I play this, he just goes here. Black is like microscopically better, but it should be a draw probably. Not the most exciting game until we get to the ending. Here, knight d4, knight c3, king f1, guarding this square, check. And now it's very, very equal. But I was trying for control of the C file. I'm not sure about A4. I don't know, this looks slow. King F1. That wouldn't be my first choice. Wow. Stockfish was actually looking at King H3 like Rubinstein. What do we have? Like Akiba Rubinstein up here? King and pawning game, Cohn Rubinstein? Or Rubinstein? Cohn Rubinstein, right? That's the Cohn Rubinstein Brooking game structure where Rubinstein won because his king penetrates to H3. One of the most famous rooking games in history with colors reversed. It's a pretty cool idea. So the pawn structure can come back to haunt me. Now I play f5, f3, and then it's just simplification. Takes, and so a knight ending. Why knight e2 doesn't win? Why knight e2 doesn't win? Why would it win? How about we ask that question? Should I phrase the question like Yoda? Or would it? Why would? You see, we should ask questions. We should think more before we ask questions. Which refutation do you want? Refutation A or refutation B? What if I told you like there's two reasons it doesn't work? Alright, so king f1, f5, f3, c7, rook c7, knight c7, and then he played e4. The first priority in any kind of endgame should be to centralize the king, right? So this has to be the best move. Blavix is saying perhaps b4. Well, he can't do b4 right away because of fork them. Or can he? He could. b4, knight d5, knight c2. It's possible, but I think, you know, it's a little safer maybe to go with the king first. Oh, before the rook trade. Oh my gosh. Wow. Ooh, where? So he played f3. So you want to just not play f3, like for white, to do b4 at some point? He could play it. I would probably do this. Or maybe I wouldn't. Maybe I lied. Maybe I should go b5. Okay, it's like a different game. It would be a different game. I mean, still, it seems equal. Yeah, lots of things are possible. Yeah, no, I don't want to give him c6, so I would maybe play b5 with black. It should still be equal. But he goes back with his king, which was a little bit weird. Then I played f5. I'm not sure that's necessary. White plays f3, and then this, and then this, and then this, and then this. And the knight ending is not the most drawish of endgames. But I thought white should definitely play king e2. And as Blavix mentioned, the move b4 not here, but in general, it is possible to play b4, and you know, but you don't want to get like zugzwanged. I think he should just play king e2. He goes e4 though, which is a really kind of reckless move. Weakening his own pawn structure. Takes, and now this pawn is isolated. But I have an isolated pawn as well, you know, on h7. So the position became much more dynamic. Now king d6, and suddenly I'm threatening like to penetrate two different ways in the white's position here. But I don't remember why. Oh yeah, so he plays king e2. He's just in time to guard. If I go here, he goes here, here. So I tried what I thought was the only way to play for a win, which was this, to get into b4. I have a better king, but he keeps me out. By the way, could he play king d3 and hold? Probably king d3 is okay, right? Like king b4, king c2. And that knight is not that great. No, I think it should be a draw. But black's king was a little bit better. You know? No, Ripunj, it should be a draw, but it's tricky. I almost lost. King c5, knight c2, b5, grabbing space, a b5. A funny thing happens later on. Okay, king d3, knight a6, here, and now I had more time, and I was trying to kind of like pressure him on the clock because he had berserked. So at this point, I really kind of let my guard down. I didn't think like there was a way I could lose. I thought, okay, he has no passed pawn or anything. h6, h4. And he's threatening, I guess, h5, g5. But this knight can come here, here. So suddenly white has some threats on the king side. So I reflexively played this, and then all of a sudden it was like, boom. And I was like, oh, oops, I missed that. You know, so now fortunately I had enough time to calculate a lot. And I thought here for, yeah, what seemed like an eternity. Wow. It was only 10 seconds. I really thought I thought on this move for quite a while. But I guess I really don't have a choice. Like, I have to take. I paused, realized I had to take. Okay, I take and g5. Okay, this was the move I thought for a while on, but again, I don't have a choice. Yeah, I spent a long time calculating here, but again, there's no choice, is there? What's my choice? Maybe I do have a choice. I take it back, because there's here, 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 and here. No, there was a choice. I don't have to play pawn takes pawn. There's another way to stop his h pawn. Theoretically. Check and knight g6, but I calculated this: h5, knight c7, h6, knight d5, h7, knight f4 check, king e4, and now knight g6. And now this position, he's down to like 34 seconds, and I thought I'm better, and this was a big mistake, you know. I actually assumed that I was better here, because I'm 2 pawns up, you know. Oh well. So king e4, knight g6 is forced. White to play knight here. Now black to move, and I need to play, like, apparently I'm supposed to play king d6, I think, and come back and just try to hold. Why not king before h7? I don't think it matters. I have king d6. That's why. So h7, who is challenging me to games? Who is this guy? No. Here, this was best according to the computer, but it was now. I had to play king d6. Unbelievably, I'm like lost after king b4. I think the engine says I'm lost after king b4. It was weird. He's like, it's like a force field, you know. I just didn't think I could possibly be in any danger. And of course I'm playing for a win with king b4. But unbelievably, the computer says I was losing. Look at this position, it's crazy. He has king f3. This is unbelievable. Like, how could I possibly be lost? I mean, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. It takes me like 8 million moves. I mean, it would take white 8 million moves. Knight h8, king g4. I don't know, why not like king takes b3, king takes g5, b4, king f6, king c3, king g7. And so the problem is, he can check me on d1. Like b3, king takes h8. I can't push. No one would find this in time pressure in a blitz game, but I just couldn't believe that I was lost, theoretically. It's really hard to find the move, the winning move, king f3. I think most people would play like knight to g4, and they would probably take here, and then we would get this, and then it would end up some kind of weird, tricky ending where white has to be careful not to lose. But like, it's unbelievable. I mean, that's what he did. He played knight g4. I mean, how can you find this move, king f3, in time pressure? And white's totally winning, down 2 pawns and a knight ending. It's It's insane. So he plays that, king b3, knight e5, knight h8, and now he played knight c6, and that's losing apparently. It's not easy for him to hold now. Knight c6, and I blundered. So I'm supposed to play b4. And now this loses. Somehow this is still a draw. Well, let's check. How does he draw? King c3. Oh, this is insane. How does he draw this? Knight f3, g4, knight d4, threatening my pawn. So b4, knight e6, g3, king f3, here, and then there. So this pawn is controlled, and then he has a fork there. He just draws by like one tempo. But I mean, dude, that's very hard. Basically, his king and knight have to stop all three pawns, while my knight just chills on h8. And knight d4 is a mistake. This is a mistake. I should have played b4. Difficult to calculate. And now it's still a draw. g3, king f3, and b4. And he lost on time in a drawn position. Wow. But he only has one move. So again, it's the fork, the force of the fork. Only one fork. This doesn't work. This apparently doesn't work. Knight d8, b3, knight c6, b2. Knight g5, b3, knight e4, b2, knight d2 check. So he has to play here. And here. Here. Yeah, no, it's a good endgame. Alright. Next game got Hayes Miro. That was a win on time in a drawn position, but not an easy one. So this is Hayes Miro with black, I think. Does this make sense? And yeah, it's Benoni player. Hayes Miro playing black against a random player on lichess. Queen c2, and now we get to see a different take. So Hayes Miro, I do recommend castles. It looks like the best line, but you know, d5 is also good. It looks like probably objectively c5 is black's third best line. Look at the draw percentage is much higher with both castles and d5. But white's winning percentage after c5 jumps up to 34%. And knight c6 also sucks, and I've played this. The other line d6 is interesting. Lynchich played this. There's like less games in this variation, but it's passive for black. So castles, all right, a3, this is main line, takes, and then white plays a very strange move here. Right. Well, I mean, that's a classic Nimzovichian blockade strategy. Sense sake. It depends on what variations we're talking about. You know, the classical's a little different than, say, you know, main line e3 variations where white gets doubled pawns. But I haven't faced this move, I don't think. Move 11 was here. Wow, c5's been played 11 times. You know what? I had a game like this, a similar game against Karshal Laszlo, Hungarian IM, some years ago. Pretty long ago now, it's probably been like 7 or 8 years ago. But it was a different move order. He ended up playing like e3. I mean, this could transpose to a same-ish variation, theoretically. But I mean, queen c2 isn't a particularly great move in positions where you're not playing the classical variation. So basically, you're like mixing two different systems. If you play a3 or f3 or whatever, you know, or e3, any of the other variations usually don't include the move queen to c2. Clearly, white is trying to play e4 here. But it is interesting that the number one most common move is c5, which would be a type of like same-ish approach. This move is undefeated. But I mean, look at the games, wow. By the way, was there chess played before the year 2015? Was there chess before 2000? There's Estremera Pernos, Spanish master, played in 1991. The opening Explorer is a little biased toward recent games. I wouldn't use this as your exclusive means of preparing. There's a lot of old games that are overlooked by this. This is correspondence, the first game. Yeah, so let's see what Hayes-Mirman did. He played b6. Okay, b6 transposes to a different line. Principally speaking, like d5 is our safest move, I think. If bishop g5, what happens if bishop g5? Can we take on c4? Knight f3? Something like b6? e4 is too strong now. Look at these games. David Cummings. Garcia Palermo, 1977 against Dennis Verduga. Now that's an old game. 5 years old. I lost to Dennis Verduga in an English opening. Mexican I am. I mean, d5 isn't everybody's style. But you can't play passively here. So Hayes-Mirman plays b6. This is definitely a little on the passive side. You're in trouble after e4, it looks like. Wow. I don't understand in what planet white would play b takes c and then not follow up with e4. Like, I mean, I'm seriously asking this question in all seriousness. Why would you like voluntarily allow yourself to have doubled c pawns with the queen on c2? The only real purpose of which would be to keep support of e4. Black now plays a passive move and allows you to play e4 and you don't execute here. This is literally the only reason to take on c3 with the pawn, in order to have a chance to play e4, and he doesn't do it. That's so bizarre. I think b6 is playable, but it's too passive. d5 is definitely okay, c5 is definitely playable. And then you could try something really weird like rook e8. Oh, this is Patrick Mary. So this guy is like a well-known correspondence player who seems to specialize in unique and interesting openings. I don't know too much about like modern correspondence chess, but this guy is all over the place. He's extremely prolific, and he's always playing interesting stuff. Or Mary Patrick or whatever. No, it's Patrick Mary. Obviously, it sounds like, I don't know, maybe an Irish or British name, but I don't know who it is. Rook e8 is interesting. The idea of e5. His mirror's b6 is too passive, but white's got to play e4 now. He doesn't play e4. Ferenc Lengel. Well, I don't know who these guys are. Maybe they're like Slovakian Hungarians or something. And now e3. And then we're just going to transpose to a lame variation where white's played queen c2 for no reason. So now black has a good game. Like it's a standard sort of Nimzovician Nimzo. White should at least try bishop g5. And now he hates mirror play bishop b4, which is okay. Bishop b4 is okay, but I think like you can also just do d6, playing for knight bd7 and eventually e5 or c5. There are even some people who might even like trade on f3, but that's really risky. Bishop e4 is safe, and then you trade off your own you're trading off the opponent's bishop pair. This is a good move. d5 is a good move. Looks like a good move to me. Of course, you could also take. Now, we've got to be a bit careful here. He played knight on bd7. What about knight c6? You can just take and move the queen to e8. And this knight is weird. But I think it's also possible to just take and then decide what to do. It's possible to play knight fd7, although that is a little bit passive. A lot of things are possible. You could play queen c8. I had an interesting game against Gonda in Hyper Accelerated Queens India and Blobix, or what was it? I guess it was a Hyper Accelerated Queens India. Now I can't remember. But I had a game against Gonda where I did queen c8, queen a6 with the idea of, that's actually Hayes Miro's favorite square. Queen c8 is reasonable. We could also play this. I think this is a decent plan. You also might transfer the queen to fianchetto land. The important thing is you traded off white's good bishop. f3, knight takes e5. Whoa. And you gotta like get white an appointment at the doctor. What planet was white on? He's been getting some of Acerbate's magic mushrooms. How does that work, master? So you lost a pawn with no compensation. But I gotta ask here, very bad decision by Hayes Miro. Definitely take with a knight. This is a really, really weird decision to take with the pawn. You lose some stability in the center. I mean, I'm not sure what his thought process was, but I mean, after knight takes here, yeah, white can take or whatever, but white can undermine you. But I mean, come on. That knight in e4, it's like a nuclear bomb. How many points of material is that knight on e4 worth? 4? This is a really bad decision to take with the pawn. Now your knight is sort of sad on f6. What is it doing? Look at that. He could have been on e4. He could have been like a superstar. But he's a loser. This knight is like the Donald Trump of the chessboard. Alright, queen e7. And then a4. See, this is another issue with bishop a3. Make your knights great again. Now he's gonna have to resort to coming back to like d7 or something. And there's levers here, trading off weak pawns. Ooh, this is ugly. Man. Hey, Miro played c takes d. Holy crap. I mean, this is possible now. I mean, this would probably be a good exchange sack. Like bishop takes f8, d3. But that's not forced. White can recapture. White is completely maybe better now. With the bishop a3, undoubling his pawns, smooth, strong center. Knight on f6, that's not going anywhere. Wow, what a transformation. a5, white's fine. A mistake, and he does bishop a3. See, this is a good exchange sack. You're really lucky that he went for that materialistic approach. After bishop f8, though, shouldn't we play this? It wasn't Hayes-Miro's best game. There's analysis here. Wait a second. There was analysis of this. Wow. A takes b6. Queen b6. c5. Holy mother of analysis variations. Queen b3. Queen d2. Rook takes f8. Castles h6. Somewhat arbitrary. h3. Rook c8. Rook c6. Slightly arbitrary variation, but it's a really good exchange sack. Yeah. But now it's a smooth center. Smooth sailing. Not as good. Not as good. I'm not sure if I even want to take that pawn, to be honest. But you're getting back rank mated. You know, black might want to consider something like moving the h-pawn now and letting him take here and just trying to hold. You also have knight g4 sometimes if the queen moves away. The pressure on this. White's winning, but it's not an easy win. Yeah, this game was a total disaster. And it takes on a5, and I don't know if white should play this move or not. Probably white, you know, can try to keep the tension. But alright, c5 is not bad. h5 here. Very subtle. And now knight takes e3. Knight f5. And we're coming back again. This game has switched hands so many times, like I don't know who's better. Wow. And now you're like better again. Unbelievable. But the next move is like crazy. So you went on to win this, but why not just take the pawn? I mean, you got a really strong position. Take the pawn, rook a7 here with a crushing knight f3 check. Black's probably winning. But instead you played knight b5. This is a terrible decision. Oh my god. You had no reason to be hanging on to your A pawn. Finally he realizes, like, I don't need to hang on to the A pawn. It's not that important. Although maybe you want to consider f5 now. These pawns are so strong that honestly, but I don't mind rook takes c5. Do we just lose a piece? Or is it my imagination? Jeez. No. Hayes-Miro has a funny out. He has this move. But it's a mess. Rook takes c5, takes. King f6 is a draw. It's probably pretty close. And this should be a draw. Obviously, it's a draw. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen on the clock, but it should be a draw. Maybe somebody lost on time. That was a really back and forth game, but interesting. That was Hey It's Miro, or Miro BTW. He goes by the artist formerly named as Miro. Tazik, where's your game? Tazik man. Tazik man. Yeah, Repun was last. Alright. Morales. Morales is not here. So let me know if anybody's in a hurry. You missed the estimate. Alright. Do you want to do... We're going to do... we've got Morales, Tezik Man, and Repunj. This is Morales with white. I don't think Morales is here. Guys, please support the stream. We're up to $71. If you donate via Streamlabs PayPal, you can add to our World Senior trip, where I will go to try to become Grandmaster Sladge in Sicily, October, November. Terrible in every aspect. Hey, look at the bright side. Erdogan won. Sorry. Don't worry. Chaos is everywhere. It's not just Turkey. Let's not go to politics. Alright. How are you feeling? Are you better? Terrible in every aspect. Alright, so this is Morales' Vienna game. I last decided, what did I like? Last time I started to like Bishop c5. I think I like Bishop c5 now. See, the problem with this move is that it allows this annoying Dracula Frankenstein variation, which is very sharp. And Morales seems to like it. The awkwardly defending f7. And what a chicken. He played queen takes e5 check. He did this against me too, I think. I can't believe Morales plays this. Just because it's a 2275, whatever. You have to play Bishop b3 here, Morales. Why are you playing Queen takes e5 check? You know, you don't want to go into the Dracula Frankenstein? After knight c6, he's forced to go into the Dracula Frankenstein with knight b5. Alright, well then you should play the opening, maybe, you know? This is so chicken-like. Queen takes e5, queen e7, queen e7, bishop e7, and then it's like a draw. White is a tiny bit better. Okay, the knight on d6 is a bit weird. Did I lose this position? Morales Sparkle Horse. No, I won. But I didn't know what I was doing. How is knight d5 a move? Bishop e3. This is Morales Sparkle Horse. Bishop b3. And I was a little bit worse in that game. Castles, knight f3. And then I made a very bad move, rook e8. This is a total mistake, if I remember correctly. You're not supposed to play rook e8, maybe knight e8. Where's the opening book? Wow, bishop d8. Okay, c6 is normal. Actually, that has a bad evaluation. Wow. This is pretty interesting. The computer It's a little bit like what do you call it? Berlin defense. Okay, bishop d8 makes sense. There's also knight f5. Isha. But needless to say, it's a tedious position that Nefedov would love for white. I wonder why Morales doesn't allow the queen e2 Petrov. I suggest, Morales, if you play, why don't you play like d3 here? I know you also play d4. He also plays d4 because he played it against me a lot. So he plays the, wasn't it that? You don't play that. I thought he played this, but definitely d3. Knight c3 maybe not that great. Alright, knight takes e4, queen h5, knight d6, queen e5 check, queen e7. There's also bishop e7, queen g7. This is a variation. Oh, Mitkov Breckenridge. And Victor Knox. I played Victor Knox. Victor Knox was 2325? Maybe it's a different Knox. Fox on Knox. Breckenridge is this crazy guy who was a moderator in my stream for a very brief period. He was like insulting the viewers and stuff. I don't know if any of you guys remember that. Asterbate was probably around back in those days. I never met him in real life, but he seems kind of unstable. Yeah, that's not a good idea. Okay, queen e7. And now Morales not playing bishop e3. What's up? He changes his mind to bishop e2 against the 2275. Oh wow, look at all these games. So all the cognoscentes don't play bishop e3, or what? This is so lame for white. Bishop e2, castles. I'd be ashamed to play this variation. Alright. Shame. VIP shame. But now Morales with d4? Wait a minute. You're not supposed to do that in this type of structure. Aren't you supposed to just like play d3? Zul versus Siddharth. Be careful of those 2100 Indians. Zul's still clinging to 2381. Not easy to do. If he keeps playing 2159 Indian players, he's not going to be 2381 for long. You better play knight f3 here. This seems weird to play d4. Alright, maybe it's not so bad. Knight f5, and now knight d5. No, knight f3, knight c6. See, black can't get in c6 and d5 in time. So he attacks the d4 pawn, knight d5, indirectly defending this pawn. And now bishop d8 and white gets in c3. So white maintains like a very small edge now. Is it possible to play against me? Yes, but not tonight. If you want to play against me, you can play Rapid Chess tomorrow when we wake up at 11:30. I'm hosting a rapid stream every Friday at 11:30. Or alternatively, a long game on Sunday. We have a simul stream on Sundays, but tonight I'm just analyzing. Alright, you wouldn't want to play me now, I'm pretty tired. So white keeps this nice pawn on d4 after everything's said and done. Morales here playing blitz. I mean, his opponent is 2275. Morales has a ridiculous rating. Dude, what's 1878? What is this? 1878? I'm not sure if I like g4. Black plays solidly. Wow. You see, if you're 1878, you're unrated. I mean, underrated by 300 points. the 2275 guy is like thinking, oh, this is gonna be easy. I'm gonna crush this like 1878. The problem is he doesn't know that the 1878 plays like 2100. Maybe sometimes even better. So he might be, although he's played very, very solidly. Bam. Uh-oh. Wait a minute. This is not an 1878. Oh my god. Morales, although black's played very compact, very tight, you know, he's got to be careful. There is f4 here. But that looks funny, doesn't it? Like something about that knight is all alone. All alone, just by itself, nobody else supporting it. Bishop f1, and then rook e8. And I would sidestep with king d1 here. I like getting out of the pin, please. For 300 bob. Oh, rook g1 is playable. Alright. Knight d5. Black doesn't have a plan. Now Morales is going to castle queenside. Oh my god. Very nice. Knight takes e3. Black achieved nothing. And now pawn takes pawn cakes. Because we love bad bishops. I don't know, man. This is a weird way to play for a win. That's all I'm going to say. Bishop takes e3. I also have to say that black is like... How fast is black playing, by the way? I'm getting a little freaked out. b5, a5. Is black a computer? It's not possible that black's a computer, is it? He's really solid for 2275. Oh, now this is weak. But Morales doesn't play knight e4? Why? Oh my god, dude. Are you analyzing viewer games? I am analyzing subscriber games. Not just random viewers. Only the random viewers that subscribe. Morales has a chance to attack d6, but it's not just that. He's got this big, giant, like, attack now, out of nowhere, with g5 and maybe f4. With additionally the threat against d6. This looks like it could be serious. He has a huge edge here, nearly winning. But you played that. Oh my god. Okay, he's down to 17 seconds. The guy's just like fast as hell. Yeah, this is a huge mistake. So you missed the boat with knight e4. You're clearly almost winning. Between the kingside attack and the weakness of d6. But he misses it with knight h3, and then Waite's almost going to lose on time. Okay, g5 isn't even possible. Well, if it is, you're sacking a piece. So he just went to trade off the knight on d5. He tried to be safe. But it was a lame, you know, decision. I think that Morales saw the clock and he decided to be careful. But I guess there's increment here. But number one, like, he's sandbagging at 1878. You know, this guy's expecting an easy game. He probably reported Morales for being a computer or something. He's just, like, way too strong to be 1878. This is bullshit. What is this? Like 2+1 bullet or something? Yeah, I answered that question already. But you can ask again. Where's Mr. Coffee? Black just fell apart. Yeah, man. He's on a computer. Wow. It's almost dirty, though. I mean, you know, seriously, Morales, what was the time control here? 2-0? What? 2-0? Holy shit, this guy had like 45 seconds. I thought it was increment. This is 2-0? After knight f4? f6, man. You're not gonna hurt me. With 17 seconds left, there's no way you're beating me here. He could have played f6 and like try to blockade you. Okay, white is better, but there's no way you're beating me in 17 seconds. Holy shit, g5. Takes g5, bishop g5. And now it's a little sketchy. Takes, and now black has to be careful. Maybe f6 again. I'm not sure. I mean, black's in trouble now, but there's no way he should lose in a 2-0 bullet game. That's crazy. All right, Claptonist versus Tezik, man. Yeah, we're analyzing subscriber games. Tezik, man, is black. Tezik, terrible in every aspect. Guys, please subscribe and support the stream. Send me to Sicily to play the Sicilian in Sicily. We're accelerating our dragons. All right. Oh. Whew. Yeah, that's gross, dude. Knight c6 is just disgusting. Horrible. But what do you expect? A lot of people do this. It's surprising. Like, even I was playing in some tournament, like a rapid, I don't know, a couple of years ago during the pandemic, where I played a 2150. I played a 2150 who was basically former 2300, and he played something like this, and then like did this disgusting sort of like bishop d3, castles king side. White can still be like equal, but it's a really insipid way of playing chess. You know, like Donaldson talks about this variation in his book, Accelerated Dragons. You found what? An 09, an 09. No, it's it's played by like half of lichess probably. There's there may be a specific way black should play against this regarding the control of the e5 square. Okay, we can play knight f6 here. I guess the point is like e5 doesn't work because of queen a5 checks. So if white plays like, let's say knight c3, he's threatening to play e5, then we need to play queen c7. You see this Padmini? I beat her too. We want to make sure white can't play e5 in favorable circumstances. Bishop g7, knight c3, f5. That's pretty crazy. Yeah, you have a little bit of I have found an 09 in this after knight c3, bishop c7, bishop c4. If you don't want, yeah. Well, I mean, you know, there's no reason for black to play f5 unless you really like are obsessed with moving your f pawn to f5. I'm sure that it's possible, and there are types of positions where that happens. Oh yeah. Yeah, you could do you can probably do lines with f5, but it's not the safest. So best is like bishop c4, d6, queen f3. Yeah, this is a problem. So we have to be careful about our move order. Queen c7. Nordieback, or Nodierback. Nodierback. So it looks like queen c7 is better. I thought there was another game here. Queen f3 and then knight f6. And see, this is an Archiev game. This is what I was remembering. This is the point. Like, we keep e5 under control. Bishop f4, d6, and now white has e5. Oh, it doesn't work, right? Because that's check. You can't do this. Check. Yeah, see, so when Arkeyev manages to stop, he stops the bullshit, and then white has nothing. You know, but the problem is, like, even when white has nothing, it's still hard to win. So white has nothing, but, like, it's hard for white, you know, not to lose. Look at an Arkeyev here. A decent grandmaster, or approximately grandmaster at that point, it's hard for black to convert. You know, the bishop sits on b3. This is like what I had against the 2150. It's solid, but it's very hard for black to actually win. Alright, anyways, white played that. Whew, that's pretty bad, man. He's facing obstruction charges. Bishop d2. Like, I wouldn't play bishop takes c3 if you let me, so, you know, bishop d2 is definitely not necessary here. I understand that this is a possibility for black, but first of all, it's like probably better in a Marazzi type position where white has played a lot of pawn moves like c4. Secondly, if you do bishop d3 and black does something like this, you know, black has a fair amount of weaknesses on the dark squares. I know I've played both colors of this types of position. Why would I give him a cool bishop? Well, Snedsteg likes to give up his cool bishop on c3. Some of us like to give it up, sometimes, under certain circumstances. But I don't think it's generally a good idea. Okay, bishop d2, a terrible move. This is weak. The bishop's blocking his queen. But I wanted to say about this variation here. You should just do knight f6. And on e5, someone in sound was talking about knight g8. I like knight d5. I still stand by knight d5. I had a game like this in Balaton in 1996. My first tournament in Hungary. Someone on sound likes this move better, but it transposes in some lines after e6, knight f6 anyway. E takes f7 check. It's good for black. This is good for black. Even if you don't castle, you have such a massive armada of central pawns that it's better for black. But my favorite variation a friend of mine played, which was also mentioned in the old Accelerated Dragons book, was like f6. This was my game. Takes, queen takes. His opponent played c4, and now knight b4. But threatening this. There is an interesting move here, queen b6 apparently. So this has been played twice by this Savchenko guy. With the idea of like a good ending for black after queen b6, knight takes b6. But my problem is like how would you ever possibly like get this position twice, you know, against two different players? Can someone explain that to me? Like, is this a real tournament? Because I'm getting a little suspicious here. This guy, Savchenko, 2600, you're telling me he's got this variation twice against players who are 2341 and 2200. Like, that's kind of sus, man. I don't know, dude. They're just like forking over rating points. I think there's something, conspiracy theory. I would like be 2475 if I played people that played that crap. Okay, bishop d2, d5. So d5 is definitely a move. I don't think this is a mistake, but it's also like a little committal. Probably a good move. The question is, what are your alternatives? After d5, he can like take, check, exactly what happened. Your alternatives are this, just letting him play e5, and then probably plunking your knight on d5, and this is approximately equal. Or you could play d6, just strong pointing e5 again. I like this, yeah. Yeah, you just chill, you know. Don't trade anything, and you keep this strong, and you play knight f6 and castle, and queen c7 if necessary, rook b8. You never ever let, it doesn't weaken c6, right? If a tree falls in the forest, you know, and no one's there to hear it, does it make a sound? Is c6 weak if nothing can attack it? And other philosophical questions will be answered. Was Alexander Alekhine a Nazi? No, I don't know, man. If nothing can attack it, it's not a weakness. That's the way I look at it. This is a strength, not a weakness. It's a feature, not a bug. You're controlling the d5 square. Yeah, white's position is retarded. But I don't like d5. It kind of blows open the game, lets like the fishy player trade a lot of stuff, and maybe have chances to draw. I would rather just play d6 and keep everything on the board and play for more tension. Okay, so you blow it open, you equalize, check, trade pieces, and then I expect white would normally like trade and play castles and try to draw from a slightly worse position. You're actually significantly better. This is a monster pawn. So I think e6, you know, queen e2, I don't know what, knight e7, knight f5. It's not equal, truthfully, white is worse. Queen g4 on the board. Okay. Check. You gotta consider knight takes, but you're dropping a central pawn. Yeah, I'm not crazy about this. Wow, what a weird move. Check, bishop d7, queen g4. Nothing suspicious about that move at all. What if we just remain calm? You could play e6. I would be freaked out if this was an over the board. I mean, I would be freaked out if this was any game. Over the board, not so much. In an online tournament, queen g4 looks like some sort of weird engine move. Well, I don't really like necessarily leaving your king in the center, but it probably is fine. This doesn't work. This is not good. I was personally wondering about this. It weakens your squares a little bit. You know, so white, but white can't, you know, white could do this. This is the pawn chain from hell though. The chair. It's a recliner. It's a beach, it's a lounge chair. You can just relax when you know this pawn structure. What's up, WJ Loof? What else is it? It's a double-decker airplane chair. Yeah, I mean, white could do crazy shit like bishop g5 or something. I'm gonna guess Stockfish said you should do this, or maybe you had bishop takes b5. Oh, bishop takes b5. He conned you. So you should have just played bishop takes b5, and you got conned. Khan. The Wrath of Khan. That's funny. I was also like forgetting that you could just simply play bishop takes b5. Pouring some cognac. Nice. I'm all out of cognac. All I have is vodka. That's what Stockfish said. Yeah, I mean, well, you don't necessarily want to bring the opponent's pieces like closer to you. And this looks a tad greedy, you know, but there's no substitute for concrete calculation, friend. If it works, it works. I mean, I need to see the evidence, but you know, things could somehow go wrong for you, I guess. I would be a little reticent to grab pawns while my king is still in the center, but you have to, yeah, you have to be objective. It depends on how much time you have to calculate. So this is not a terrible move. You're better. You're better. You can put your king on c6. This is a monster. So right here, I know this looks like it's really psycho, but you might consider playing king c6. You can always like slowly back away and put the gun down with like king b7. And bring your rooks to the middle. And really nothing's going to hurt your king. On the other hand, you're blocking the c file where, you know, you might get some pressure here. So maybe the best advice I can give you is just to play like the sort of routine move, and yeah, that's what you did. Bring your rooks through the open file, so the more natural approach. Yes, that's a tremendous move. And then now he has like weird tricks like bishop takes, that's what he did. And then I expected this, but you're just like clearly better. You know, so long as he can't play c4 and break open the center and destroy your central strength, he's almost done. You know, this is a really bad position. Your boss gave you a bottle of Remy Martin. Nice. I had some really good French cognac, but I drank it all. But I got a really cool bottle out of it. That was, yeah, last World Senior. Parting gift. We have a parting gift. All right. Here. Yeah, no excuse for him to give you that. That's a really bad move by white. We have a parting gift for you. No, see, he's in big trouble, man. Rook b8. Game over, bro. And you're just gonna step away and put the knife down the other way with like king e8, king f8 or whatever. Just step away calmly and, you know, nobody panic. Just gonna de-escalate the situation. Bishop takes f6. Uh-oh. And he tries to get away, but this bishop's way stronger than his knight. Yeah, maybe white is better off playing c3. It's a really tough call. I don't blame him for playing b3, but now it's like these squares are slightly weakened. You're better. It's not easy to win though. I like this probing. Wow. Tesik is really a pro. Dude, you should be a dentist. Does that hurt? Does it hurt when I do this? Maybe dental school. Too bad you're a psychologist. You need like a metal, you know, dental tool, and you're just like sticking it in the opponent's like position. A4 is kind of annoying. And now you have a threat. And this isn't gonna save him. Nice game. I think he's lost now. Boom, boom, boom. Very accurate. What was the time control? You played like it was a correspondence game. Oh, it was. Oh, yeah. Yeah, nice. Yeah, I had the feeling. I mean, the quality of the moves is better than in like a blitz game or something. Yeah. No, you can see it. I mean, black played very methodically. You played well. White just didn't have the knowledge, you know, strategically. Yeah, it was excellent execution. Exelution. Rook d1. Yeah, now black's in great shape. You have the monster, protected passer almost. He has a pawn down. His king is vulnerable. His pawn structure is bad. I guess that didn't work out. Maybe rook a3 wasn't the best. But you're still winning. Nothing's gonna save him now. You're up a pawn with a better structure, a better king. I think you should probably go here. This gets in the way of your pawns with like king e5. This is really sort of psycho. The psycho dentist. It's probably okay. I mean, at the end of the day, he doesn't have a way to get his rook into your position. This is kind of funny. Well, obviously, you should play g3 check. Don't checkmate yourself now. Uh-oh. Now there's this. So you can go first with e5. That's a good way to lose, too. If you play e5, he has g3 check. Are you losing there? Probably lost. I don't know. King takes. Yeah. That's pretty crazy. You're probably lost there. You could lose it in one move. So here, and then, okay, one, he resigned. King b4 is too slow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he'd have to play king c3. You do have a backward pawn. You also have more tempi, so you just play a5 and he's done. Yeah. I mean, he's in 6-1. Good game. What if the black king goes to c6 if white takes a6? So we're saying in like a race scenario, where like here, 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 here. Yeah, that's a win. That's a win. You box him out. It's like basketball. Box out the guy you're one-on-one with. Yeah. Basketball and chess. Alright, last game. Good game, Tezek man. Reprunge. Reprunge with black. The reprunge. Yeah, you're welcome. Guys, thanks for tuning in. Guys, don't forget, support my trip to Sicily, October, November, World Senior. Let's get some donations and subscriptions going. Alright, best $2 I spent in a while. Uh-oh, we got $2. Oh, I thought you donated $2. He donated $2 to a yard sale. You found chess books, 6 chess books at a yard sale, including Dvoretsky. Which Dvoretsky? Alright. Actually, I have Endgame. The Endgame one. Like his last book. Repunch is playing Endgame Manual Edition 2. I think I have the first edition. But that's a good expenditure. E4, knight f6, e5, knight d5, d4, d6, c4, knight d6, f4. 4 pawns attack is good for white. One of many problems with the Alekhine, I guess. I was thinking of playing the Scandinavian in Sicily, but don't tell anybody. Yeah, this is mainline. I like G6. Where can we donate to your Sicilian fund? Streamlabs, I guess you have to do PayPal on Streamlabs, because the Streamlabs the normal Streamlabs doesn't seem to be accepting credit cards. My Streamlabs doesn't seem to work with credit cards for some reason, or at least it didn't the last time. Streamlabs, PayPal. Alright, G6 though, Ripunj. I like this variation with G6, Knight C3, Bishop G7, Bishop E3, and Bishop E6. This is an interesting way to play, where you like provoke white to play D5 and go back to C8. We're basically provoking white to overextend themselves. That's my last and best idea so far for black in the 4 pawns attack. Not my idea, but the best I could find. So DE5, FE5. Now, I have played the Asimov variation with C5, but this is pretty dangerous to say the least. So Ripunj goes with like book line, Bishop F5, Knight C3. I think the Knight C3 is best. E6 for main line. Now white's supposed to play like Bishop E3, isn't he? Move order. For some reason, I thought this was a better move order than Knight F3. Right. You see, after Bishop E3, what we gonna do? Bishop E3, Knight C6, and now Bishop E2 is possible. I think that's your biggest issue. You know, what you're going to do against Bishop E3. Knight F3 is not as accurate. Although it still might be good for, it's probably still good for white. Bishop E4. So this is experimental. I don't know where, you know, where you get your analysis from. But Knight C6 is normal. Knight C6, Bishop E3. What's up with Knight B4, by the way? Rook C1, C5, A3, CD4. This is bad. There's an Asimov game there as well. You're supposed to play like Bishop E7 and F6, right? And lose like Naroditsky did. This is the lose like Naroditsky variation. So I don't have a solution for you here, you know. I know Hikaru had played Bishop G4. There's a game from 2008 where he lost to Dusko. You can't solve the problems here. I mean, Naroditsky lost to this against Robeson. Bishop G4 is not that great. So I don't know what to suggest. Queen D7 is interesting, maybe. You can try something crazy like Castle Queenside. Credit card isn't working. Cash only. Alright, so you played Bishop E4. So this is like some sort of experimental variation. I guess it prevents D5, but white can play like A3. Oh wow, this happened in Nakamura Carlsen. But what is Bishop E2? So Bishop E2 is weird. Yeah, A3. Looks like A3 is best. Bishop takes C3, B takes C, C5, Bishop D3. It could transpose. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of stuff here. I'm not an expert. Bishop E2 looks a little bit weird. So C5, no. It looks like you're supposed to play C5. Is this confirmed? Well, somebody was talking about Bortnick. Oh, so it was Bortnick. Repunj was playing the Bortnik repertoire. So Bortnik apparently recommends c5. You have to play c5. Putting pressure on enemy center, yeah. So bishop e2 is weak. But I also think like knight f3 is weak. There's just no reason for white to play knight f3. Knight f3 is dumb. Why not bishop e3? What are you going to do now? You're going to do Bortnik? Nepomniachtchi Bortnik online. Oh, this is a game. Wow. Knight f3 now? Why not rook c1? Munoz Pantoja. So we're threatening c5. Huh. Anyway, it's interesting. Alright. So you played knight f3, bishop b4 here, and now you need to play c5, but you didn't. You did this. And now white just plays bishop e3. And now you took unprovoked. Never do that. Never ever take unprovoked when you've got something pinned. It's not a good idea. I think this was the move, wasn't it? This was it. I looked at this with a coach. It's a crazy variation, but apparently it's like not easy to refute black's position. That's probably your best try if you want to play this, I guess. But this unprovoked exchange on c3 is definitely not good. Castles, and then I don't know, maybe c5 at some point for white. Why doesn't white like castle at some point? This move. So if knight a5, queen b4, what is that, a draw? So he's queen b5. Ah, very interesting. Although this is definitely playable. What is that in a repetition? White plays queen b5, and that's not a repetition. So white has c5 at some point. He plays c5. Yeah, and now you played a6, queen b2 on your b pawn, knight d5 on his bishop, and now the bishop just retreats, and this makes more sense to me. So it looks like black's in trouble here. But my question, it's a really demented Petrov. Could you play maybe b5 or something? I mean, obviously a4 is going to be an issue. But I think this is a critical position. I mean, you already probably played it a little bit, not the best, but I'm not sure that black is like lost. But I mean, I don't like the feel of this. Looks like we're in trouble. Yeah, b5. Holy shit. It's actually okay for black. I was afraid we were going to get blasted by a4. The computer says it's okay. So your a5 moves is really weird. You know, you're not solving the problem here with b7. So it was basically like a cheap trick. Yeah, a5 is just a mistake. You could do b6 apparently. And I wasn't sure about this though. You know, what's happening? It's a really complicated position, Repunj. I don't know. You gotta know what you're doing, man. This doesn't look right. So you basically tried to like trap his queen, but now white has bishop b5. Or the move in the game, like maybe bishop b5 is not a problem. You could just play knight e7. So he has to do queen b2, or queen b2 only move, or queen b3. It's also possible queen b3. He could put his queen on a3, c1, or d1. So you basically sacked a pawn. Look at this armada here, though. If you don't have anything, you're dead. You're dead, you know. There's no way you're gonna live against that. Unless you have something serious. That's gonna kill you. Maybe he made a mistake, you know, maybe he should have put his queen on a different square. Right? Here, here. What's wrong with queen a3, for example? Wouldn't that make more sense? To stay on this, stay on this. There's no way to trap him. You're not gonna trap his queen. I mean, still you can try to double on the file, but... And he also has lateral mobility here, so maybe, I don't mean to play a4, but he could play c4 and possibly sneak across, you know, somewhere on the third rank. I mean, for a fast game, it's okay, but, you know, I think you need to improve. Now you're threatening rook b1. Still he has this move. So technically you're not really threatening anything. That's sus. Yeah, I don't want to put the knight on the side of the board. I mean, there's also a really good chance black blows up the position with some kind of sacrifice in the center at some point. I definitely don't want to put my knight on h4 if I can help it. This move is definitely suspicious. Now he found the right square for the queen, but look at his guys. Now his bishops are like begging for rook c1 or rook b2. You have rook b2 now. How does he defend against rook b2? He might have some sort of weird defense. I mean, he can play rook d1, but all moves are kind of awkward here for white. You did queen e7 here, and then down, which I guess is okay, but you are leaving your knight hanging on c6. This is a really crazy position. Wow. So why not like rook c2, actually? I'm not sure, you know, queen e7 was really necessary. Because ultimately, like, you leave your knight unprotected. I guess you did weaken his king side. But the problem is this knight might be an issue. Okay, here, here. Why not here? How about rook c2? Threatening to double eyes. For me, bishop e1 is too weird. Wow, you're threatening to trap his queen with rook takes a2, queen c1. Still has queen c1. Bishop e1 is awkward, man. It's a little awkward. What just happened? Oh my gosh. What? I don't understand what's happening. You're busting in here with the queen? Computer? That's like R2D2 would find this move. Wow. It's not even queen g5. Rook takes d2. Rook takes d2, knight e3. Okay. And then, is he lost? You basically just traded a whole mess of pieces. So I feel like you have to have something better, you know? Like here. Oh my gosh, knight e3. Wow. That's not easy. Not easy to find. The conception is basically opposite colored bishops. So if you think in terms of like I'm attacking on ops colors, you would have possibly found this idea. Well, there's a strategic basis for it. You know, it's this versus this. And if you approach the position thinking of color complex, it's not about combinations. This would be about overwhelming him on the white squares. You could find it. I could find it. You know, ops color bishop is a very good strategy to attack in the middle game. But I don't think it was easy. I was actually looking at like rook c2. How is rook c2? So rook c2 and the avalanche starts and it's total chaos after that. Holy shit. This would be insane. Knight takes d4. That would have been total chaos. So you played this. The problem is you're not actually threatening to trap his queen because he has queen c1. And I guess this just amounts to a big exchange. And you're still, you know, you're still down the PowerPoint presentation there. I mean, as long as that giant cluster remains. Sedentary Al, thanks for following. Merlin God, thanks for following. Thanks, you guys. We're gonna wrap it up now. The cluster stays intact. White is winning. But I don't like his discoordinated pieces. Notice that all four of White's pieces are like uncoordinated. So here you found queen g5. But he has rook b2, check, king h1, bishop e4 check, and knight g2, and White won on time. So you're not getting back rank mated because your knight is protecting b8. So you can play anything in this position. So what's the best move? Like queen e1? Basically, it's like an embarrassing position where queen e1 is winning. Yeah. He has no way to defend. He's basically like down a queen. That's insane. Rook takes b8, knight takes b8. Too many weaknesses. That's pretty cool. The important thing is that he won on time. Rook b4, in fact. Really? What? Rook b4? Where? Where now? What about rook b4? Rook b4. Oh. Rook b4. But I don't understand. Like, what's wrong with queen e1? What am I missing here? What? Oh, he has king g1. Oh my gosh. Wow. So my variation isn't a win. Whoa. You would think like rook takes b2 would win. But you still have no way to finish him off. This is incredible. Because on queen e1 he always has this. And then he has this, and he's like hanging on by threads. So rook b4 is Black's winning move. That's pretty tough to find. And rook takes b4. Man, you couldn't make this up. You couldn't make this up. He can't take his queens hanging. But we want to know why he can't take with the rook. Because obviously here is a problem. That's a problem. If he takes with the rook, you have knight takes, and then it's in a computer position. That's insane, dude. You didn't make this up with a computer. This was a real game. That's pretty unbelievable. Queen takes a5, and this is covered, so Black is winning. And if queen back, you have knight d3, threatening No, you don't. It's mate. Oh shit. So queen back. You have the what? Oh no, it doesn't work. So rook takes b4, there's a win. I don't get it. What's the win? Rook takes b4. That's so weird. Oh, so you just go queen f2? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? That's crazy. That's one of the craziest positions I've ever seen. That's really amazing. Wow. Nice game. Thanks guys for tuning in. Alright, we'll be back tomorrow, hopefully. Tomorrow, Fast Friday Rapid Challenges. Thanks everyone for splitting the stream. Don't forget to donate. $71 for the World Senior. Mr. Coffee, Acerbate, WJ Loof, Repunch. Thanks everyone. We'll see you on Friday, 11:30 a.m. CEST, Central European Summer Time. Thanks guys, good games, good luck, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye bye.